Continuing to episode 7, Sukuna and Millicent were having a conversation while enjoying tea. Millicent expressed her dissatisfaction to Sukuna, noting the peculiar Kamari-faced shirt she was wearing. Millicent felt like the shirt was mocking her. To Sukuna, however, it was a really nice shirt. Millicent then asked Sukuna why she was there. Sukuna, in turn, questioned why Millicent was present when she should be in prison. As it turned out, Millicent had received permission to go out. While looking at a letter, she mentioned that the story would be long if she were to tell it. Millicent then guessed that Sukuna wanted to escape from Inverse Moon. Sukuna confirmed this, and Millicent already knew that Inverse Moon was holding Sukuna's family hostage. Millicent suggested Sukuna to confide in Kamari, as she would surely help. Sukuna replied that she didn't want to involve Kamari in her personal affairs. Millicent then advised Sukuna that if she couldn't do anything else, she should let Kamari drink her blood. The much-anticipated day arrived, and the war among the Crimson Lords was about to begin. The Empress announced a special rule. The generals had to capture the Crimson Sphere located in the old castle in the middle of the arena. Whoever possessed the Crimson Sphere by sunset would be the winner. Additionally, there were rankings from 1 to 6 based on the points earned during the war. Killing an enemy soldier would give 1 point, while killing a Crimson Lord would yield 50 points. The last ranked individual would be dismissed from the Crimson Lord position. Each general could only bring a maximum of 100 soldiers. The winner would receive a prize directly from the Empress. The crowd cheered loudly, eager to witness the battle. Kamari looked very worried and told Vilhaze that she just wanted to go home. Vilhaze replied that if she went home, Kamari would be declared a loser. Then she looked at her troops, realizing that there were very few of them, only around 30 people. She thought maybe the others were still asleep. Vilhaze explained that Kamari's troops had dueled to determine who could participate, and out of a total of 500 people, 470 had already perished. Of course, Kamari considered what her troops had done foolish. Suddenly, Vilhaze's communication device rang, and she handed it to Kamari. Unexpectedly, it was a call from Float, who immediately shouted to ask about Kamari's well-being. From the communication device, Float praised Kamari for not fleeing the battlefield, but also promised to expose Kamari's true weak self. Kamari, Vilhaze, and Kamari's troops remained silent as they listened to Float's banter. Hearing Float's belittling remarks, Kamari's troops became furious and requested permission to attack her. Kamari granted them permission to begin the assault. On the other side, Float ordered her troops to attack Kamari's forces, as she predicted that the weak Kamari would only hide behind her troops and wouldn't move from their initial position. However, Float's prediction was completely wrong. All of Kamari's forces were aggressively advancing towards them at high speed. From a distance, the enraged Kamari's troops, eager to kill Float, were clearly visible. These troops left Kamari and Vilhaze alone, along with Kamari's mythical beast, Bucephalus, which was nearby. Vilhaze then spoke to Bucephalus, stating that if he caused Kamari's death, she would turn him into soup for dinner later. Kamari suggested joining Sukuna, but Vilhaze explained that to get there, they needed to pass through Delphine's forces guarding the southeast. Vilhaze also received a report from Captain Meliconsi that Heldius and Autolon's forces were clashing on the west side of the old castle. Going there now might result in casualties due to stray bullets. Kamari was confused about which way to go. Suddenly, several fireballs attacked them from above. From a distance, Delphine's forces were seen rushing towards them. Vilhaze sensed a vengeful intent behind Delphine's mask, perhaps thinking that Kamari was the one who poisoned her at the Crimson Lord meeting yesterday. Vilhaze and Kamari decided to escape by riding Bucephalus. Although they were already in the midst of battle, Sukuna appeared to be standing still. Sukuna seemed to be receiving a call from someone who was angry. After the call, Sukuna looked serious. She activated her core implosion and ordered her troops to eliminate Float and bring her to Sukuna. From a distance, the Empress observed the situation through her magical orb, and alongside Armin, they witnessed Sukuna using her core implosion power. Armin speculated that Sukuna might be the culprit behind the previous chain of murders. However, the Empress instructed him to be patient because she was certain that someone was controlling Sukuna. She wanted to capture that person too, believing that the one controlling Sukuna was Reverse Moon, who was also present on the battlefield. Vilhaze and Kamari appeared extremely exhausted as Delphine relentlessly pursued and attacked them. Delphine, now behind them, unleashed magic that formed a wall of earth right in front of Bucephalus. Unable to avoid it, Bucephalus collided with the wall, causing Vilhaze and Kamari to fall to the ground. Now surrounded by Delphine and all her troops, the injured Delphine viewed Kamari as a constant liar, claiming that her track record, abilities, everything was just deception. Delphine used magic by manipulating the blood oozing from the cut on her hand, transforming it into knives thrusting towards Vilhaze and Kamari. Some knives hit Vilhaze, injuring her. Vilhaze seemed unable to fight anymore, and Kamari urged her to leave. However, Delphine had prepared a blood-infused magic, forming a massive stone thrown in their direction. Vilhaze chose to dodge the attack, climbing back onto Bucephalus to escape. Bucephalus sprinted swiftly toward the old castle. They thought Delphine had stopped chasing them, but they were wrong. Delphine was already behind them. Ahead, the forces of Heldes and Metal were engaged in a battle. Passing through the battlefield, they faced numerous arrows and magical attacks directed towards them. From the air, Vilhaze released a poisonous gas that spread through the air. Anyone inhaling the poisonous gas could die from it. Vilhaze explained that the poison only killed males, so Kamari and herself wouldn't be affected. Vilhaze headed straight for the Crimson Sphere, intending to destroy it, ensuring no one would win or lose in the battle. When they reached the Crimson Sphere, Kamari and Vilhaze found themselves cornered. Delphine prepared a magical attack using her blood, forming a large sword that swiftly moved toward Kamari. Quickly, Vilhaze conjured a magical stone, causing it to explode and scattering the blood that formed the sword into the air. Kamari, stunned by the event, accidentally had a drop of blood enter her mouth, activating her core implosion power. On the other hand, Float seemed to have successfully defeated some of Kamari's troops. However, from a different direction, Sukuna was also attacking her with her magical arrows. Float remained undaunted, preparing to release her magical aura to confront Sukuna, who was now in front of her. However, her attention was diverted when she saw an extraordinary burst of magical energy emanating from the castle. Shortly after, a massive explosion occurred there, affecting Delphine, Heldes, Metal, and all their troops. From her throne, the Empress laughed at the scene, explaining that it was the highest magic, the dawn of hell. She hadn't expected to witness it herself. In the midst of the aftermath, the now conscious Kamari felt confused about what had just happened. Kamari immediately searched for Vilhaze, who was lying helpless but still alive. Kamari used a magical stone to teleport Vilhaze to the hospital. Shortly after, Float appeared in front of Kamari. Kamari pretended to be casually friendly and asked what happened to the others since she seemed to be alone. Float angrily explained that Kamari had killed everyone with her explosion. Float believed Kamari had used a high-powered bomb, as it seemed impossible for Kamari to generate such a powerful magical explosion. Float also noticed the shattered Crimson Sphere and accused Kamari of intentionally destroying it, infuriating her as Kamari had disrupted the war. Float raised her sword and unleashed her magic, causing Kamari to feel terrified. Float concentrated dark magic at the tip of her sword, ready to thrust it at Kamari. Unexpectedly, from behind, Sukuna with bare hands managed to pierce Float's chest and through her body. Float, semi-conscious, tried to look towards Sukuna to understand what had happened. However, with her magic, Sukuna conjured a large stone above Float and dropped it, causing Float's demise. Sukuna then greeted Kamari, feeling fortunate to finally meet her. Kamari was left stunned, witnessing Sukuna's extraordinary power. Sukuna excused herself, attributing her success to Float's momentary lapse. Sukuna approached Kamari, engaging in a conversation about the questions she had previously posed to Kamari. Sukuna revealed that she couldn't defeat the Inverse Moon, Harris herself. Despite trying hard, following the organization's orders and pleading for them to stop, they would surely kill someone Sukuna cared about. Feeling powerless, she had only one choice: to continue working hard for Inverse Moon. Sukuna confessed to Kamari that she was the terrorist Kamari was searching for. Kamari, still not understanding what was happening, thought Sukuna was just joking. Sukuna wanted Komeri to know the current situation, as it would be sad if they ended up killing each other without Komeri knowing anything. Sukuna used her magic, Mind Refrain, on Komeri. Komeri appeared to be closing her eyes, and this episode concluded here.